Hello and welcome to Get Your Story Straight, 15 story beats from Save the Cat Writes a Novel by Jessica Brody. This is the second part in a series of videos walking through the Save the Cat method of storytelling. In part one, we discussed the first three beats, opening image, theme stated, and setup, which covers roughly the first 10% of your novel. But before we move on, let's quickly recap what a story beat is. Story beats are essentially plot points from the plot points that form the foundation of your story. They help create a cleaner path to pacing, driving your story from beat to beat. And if that sounds a bit like a formula, then well, it is kind of, but not exactly. This isn't at all taking a specific genre of story and duplicating it. Instead, this is more like the foundation and structure of a house. Or, I mean, better yet, think of it like a roadmap, helping you move from point to point in your story. Now, this isn't the method to storytelling. There are certainly plenty that are out there, and some are better than others for you. But this particular method is simply a way that's worked in best-selling books over the last 200 years. Jessica Brody did quite a lot of research on what made a story, what points existed in a story of best-selling books over that time period. Um, and so that I can offer you an example as we go through of how these beats are put to use, I'll continue referencing Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone by J.K. Rowling. I think most people are at least familiar with the story, and if not, hopefully we'll be able to detail it enough for you to understand. So on we go into part two, covering the catalyst and the debate, which will lead us into Act Two. Now, following our last beat, the setup, comes the catalyst. And the catalyst is somewhere around the 10% mark in your novel. It is an inciting event that happens to your hero. It takes what they've known and turns their world upside down, which then leaves the hero with no choice but to follow a new path. They have nowhere to go but forward into this new reality. Now, a catalyst can be any number of things. It can be a death, it can be a phone call, job loss, the end of a relationship, or really anything that serves as a point of change in the status quo. Among the many things that it accomplishes, it serves to showcase your hero's flaws. The theme that we established in part one of this series and the theme that you'll establish with your hero should resonate here at this point in Act One, which ties your hero into a path of change. I mean, it's a wake-up call. It's something that forces your hero to action and forces them to move forward with this new reality. The easiest way to measure whether or not you have the catalyst correct is to ask a simple question of your hero. Can they return to life as normal? If your answer is yes, they can return to their life as normal, then you still have some work to do. It just means you need to go back and look at what your catalyst is and see how to change it so that your hero has no choice but to move forward. Now, if your answer is no, your hero cannot return to life as normal, then congratulations, you've got it. Like you have a broom to their back, you may now safely push them into harm's way and see what comes of them. In all likelihood, it's going to be messy, which is what we want. Now, in Harry Potter, the catalyst takes place from pages 45 to 60. And now there's the whole beat of the catalyst section, which is the 45 to 60. And then, of course, we'll look at the one thing that actually serves as the catalyst to Harry's journey. Now, Harry's normal world, miserable though it is changed by the arrival of a letter that's addressed him. Now, he's never received a letter before, and even more peculiar, this letter is actually addressed to Harry Potter as a person living under the staircase, in the cupboard under the stairs. And so it's a very, very bizarre letter. Before he can open it, Uncle Vernon intercedes and takes it from him and tears it up. And then he continues as letters begin to show up in even greater numbers to prevent Harry from being able to read the letters. It's his mission to make sure that Harry knows nothing of the world from which he comes, and he's doing everything in his power to make sure that Harry does not read this letter. And he doesn't just stop at trying to stop the letters. He decides that the best thing to do is to pack up the entire family, Harry included, and to just drive away. Can't very well get a letter if you're not home. But no matter where they go, the letters continue to arrive, brought by owls, packs of owls. And then finally, he settles on a rickety cottage in a small island out in the water, obviously. And there we find the arrival of Rubeus Hagrid, who proclaims to be the groundskeeper at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. And he delivers the line that forever changes Harry's life. It's on page 50. He says, "Harry, you're a wizard." I'm not going to even attempt to do the accent for you. You're just going to have to remember it and hear it in your head. Now, with this one line, everything that Harry has known about himself and his life is gone. He not only cannot go back, he doesn't want to go back. It does place Harry's greatest flaw, his ability to believe he can be anything more than a child living in a cupboard, into the forefront. He not only has no choice, but he is eager to explore this new reality. And now once you've established the catalyst for your hero, that thing that propels them into the next beat, simply called the debate. Now, this covers roughly the 10% to 20% mark of your novel, and therein the debate tackles a simple question, or single question: what now? How does your hero proceed from here? This entire beat touches on the human reluctance and reaction to change. We all approach change in different ways. We all react to it in different ways, and so should your hero. Keep that in mind as you're creating characters, that you want to be flexible in how they react, and try not to have characters reacting the same way. Especially your hero needs to really struggle with this change in some form or another. The debate is a multi-scene beat, and it shows your heroes struggle with this new reality. Now, it doesn't mean they have to go in willingly. I mean, obviously, Harry is very excited about moving forward and very excited to be leaving his world behind. But that doesn't minimize the challenge he or any hero faces, and certainly not the wonder of it all. So if it isn't a decision whether or not to go forward in this new reality, then it's chock full of preparation for what is to come. Now, for example, in Harry Potter, the debate covers pages 60 to 87. In this particular section, we find Harry in tow with Hagrid, going through the streets of London into the Leaky Cauldron, where he's immediately recognized by the barman. He encounters a professor from the school who obviously knows who he is, Professor Quirrell, and is very nervous to meet him, which is an odd thing for Harry to have to go through, and he's having to react to it accordingly. Hagrid takes Harry through a hidden wall into a place called Diagon Alley, which is a wondrous place of shops and magical things that just excite and elicit wonder in Harry. Here we find the Gringotts Bank, the Wizarding Bank, which is run by goblins, and Harry discovers that his parents, who were killed by Lord Voldemort, have left himself quite a bit of wealth in order to help provide for him, and this gives him the opportunity to go through Diagon Alley and purchase all the things he needs to go to Hogwarts. From a wand at Ollivander's, where he learns a little bit more about his history with Lord Voldemort, and finds that the wand that chooses him is a sister to, or brother I can't remember which sibling it is, but anyway, it is linked to the wand that Lord Voldemort used to kill his parents and that left him with the scar. He also goes to Madame Malkin's, where he has to purchase school robes, um, and then Hagrid buys him an owl, Hedwig, um, which is another thing that helps cement that, you know, this is an incredibly new experience with wonderful things and things he gets to carry with him forward as he has to deal with the excitement and revelation of this world, but he's also dealing with the challenge of being marked by this lightning bolt scar. People treat him differently. They point and they whisper. They know his name, and he's uneasy with the level of fame he carries for this horrific act that he can barely even remember, if anything at all. I mean, yes, he's having fun, and so are his readers, but the debate beat pushes his joy up against his reluctance to believe that he is what everyone says he is. So that concludes this part of the series. Now, in the next installment, we'll cover the first 3 beats of Act 2. And Act 2 is the largest part of your novel. It comprises roughly 50 to 60% of everything you're going to write in your story. And so we're definitely going to have to break that into 2 parts. But in the next installment, we're going to cover the first 3 beats of Act 2, which is break into Act 2, the B story, and fun and games. And all of that will take us straight into the midpoint and the remainder of Act 2. So I hope that you find these videos helpful. Please feel free to drop me a comment, or if you're on any of the social media sites watching this or linked from this, you're welcome to message me directly with any questions. I'll certainly do the best I can to help answer. It's the only reason I'm doing this is I want to make sure that writers have all the tools that they can possibly have to write the best stories they possibly can. I am a big fan of this particular method, and I'm very excited to be able to go through all this, and very much look forward to having conversations with other writers about it. So that's all I got for this video. So get to it. Go write.